All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I have a new Bitcoin mining company that we haven't done a deep dive yet on this channel. So it's one of the big ones, and they are on a huge run right now. So today, I want to go through Cipher Mining, stock ticker CIFR. This has flown under the radar. Most of last year, they didn't produce any Bitcoin, but they are up and running, and I think they're bigger than people think. So I want to go through the details and do a deep dive on this one. We talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. So if you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. Lastly, if you want to become a member, you can join the channel by hitting the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button on the YouTube page. If you don't see that, there should be a link below in the description. Members get some members-only content, and we do a once-a-week members-only live stream. That will be today after the market closes. And on the live stream, the members get to pick a company for me to do a deep dive video on each week. So we have a lot of fun there. You're welcome to join us. Let's talk about Cipher Mining. Okay, I'm just going to start out by looking at the overview here. They're trading at about $1.07 today. That puts them at a market cap of $266,000. We're going to see where that stacks up. This is actually one of the largest market cap Bitcoin miners at this time. So that is a surprise to me because for, like I said, most of the year last year, they really didn't mine any Bitcoin at all. They just got up and running in the mid to late fourth quarter of 2022. So we're going to go through their chart later. You're going to see that in the last month, they have had an astronomical run. So they're actually pulling back a little bit today. They're down 6% in the middle of the trading day, but this is in the middle of a gigantic run up. So I want to start out by looking at their December operational update. This is the first meaningful update that they have had. They are now mining Bitcoin. So let's put them into perspective. Let's look at December. Okay, so this was just put out a few weeks ago, January 10th, 2023. Cipher Mining announces December 2022 operational updates. And again, this is actually their first actual operational update that included all these numbers and metrics. Okay, starting out, produced 225 Bitcoin and achieves new all-time high hash rate capacity of 2.8 exahash in December of 2022. So they came out of the box here strong. They're already at 2.8 exahash, and you're going to see that puts them among the second group. There's one group that's ahead of them that they're hoping to catch up to sometime in the next 2 or 3 months. So Bitcoin mined 225, Bitcoin sold 39. So actually so far, they're taking a bit of a hodl strategy. They haven't come out and said that, and we'll have to see how the year plays out. But at the moment, they did hold most of the Bitcoin that they mined in the month of December. That puts their total Bitcoin holdings up to 394. So that is small in comparison to the large hodl companies. But like I said, these guys really just started mining this past quarter. Deployed fleet, 28,000. So they have 28,000 Bitcoin miners operational. Month-end operating hash rate, 2.8 exahash. Okay, so just for a quick review, this was the monthly comparison for all the companies through December 31st. So in December, Cipher was at 2.8 exahash. That put them in 5th place overall. Technically, if you consider Core Scientific, which is in Chapter 11, it's actually 6th place. So either way, they went from never being on this list all year. They weren't even on the list in November, and they jumped right to number 5 in December at 2.8 exahash. So they passed a lot of well-established Bitcoin mining companies in December. So then if we look at the actual Bitcoin mined in December, you're going to see they're also in 5th place here. So again, they've never even been on this list prior to this, and they jumped straight to 5th place with 225 Bitcoin mined. They mined more than Hive and Hut and Argo blockchain. So those are some well-established miners. But you can see there's still a big gap. There's 5 that are just producing significantly more, and Cipher is attempting to get up and competitive with those 5 companies. But for now, you can see that they have separated themselves. The difference between 4th place and 5th place on this list is cut in half. So we'll have to see. January, we should get a big update, so I'll look forward to the January numbers. Okay, management commentary. In December, in addition to operating its first 3 data centers, Cipher continued its build out on Odessa at maximum velocity. Cipher started the month with the potential to mine 3.6 Bitcoin per day at Odessa and finished with the potential to mine 6.6 Bitcoin in a day at the site. An 84% increase in a single month. So understand that Odessa is by far their biggest site for operations. It's the vast majority of their operations. Okay, this is a quote from the CEO. We maintained a relentless focus on cost discipline and announced during the month that we had purchased 7,200 new rigs at a very attractive pricing, bringing our total purchase fleet for self-mining to over 59,000 rigs. Remember, they have 28,000 of them up and running operational. As we turn the calendar to look towards 2023, we remain focused on completing Odessa as quickly as we can, with an additional 31,000 machines fully paid for rigs on site or in transit to Odessa. We anticipate expanding our self-mining capacity to 6 exahash in the first quarter of the year. This would be a gigantic jump in their exahash, so you can see they needed to just about double to compete with those other companies that were mining about twice as much Bitcoin as them, but you can see they have a plan here over the next maybe 75 days to do that. So again, it's always about execution. We'll see, do they meet their targeted timelines? This is the first chance we're really getting to see because, you know, they've been in preliminary stages up until December of 2022. Now they've got some concrete numbers. They're mining Bitcoin, and they have a stated objective for the first quarter of 2023. Okay, now I want to talk about a little sidetrack. I really feel this is worth mentioning. So we talked about the rigs that they have and the fact that they're going to get to 6 exahash, it looks like, shortly. But I just want to bring this up because at the time it was a massive, major announcement, and it was a gigantic part of their overall strategy. And this actually never happened. So in October of 2021, they said Cipher Mining announces agreement to purchase between 28,000 and 56,000 Bitfury next generation mining rigs. Bitfury is the biggest shareholder in Cipher. They own over 80% of the share of stock in this, so this was sort of an agreement with themselves to some extent. Delivery expected to begin in June of 2022 and extend through December of 2022, so this was all supposed to be complete by now. This never started, and they're not going to do it. The agreement brings the aggregate hash rate of mining rigs under contract to between 13.8 exahash and 19.2 exahash, so at the time that they put this release out, with these type of numbers, they were vying to be the largest Bitcoin mining company of all the publicly traded North American Bitcoin mining companies. Now, you can see reality did not match these plans. They were expecting to be potentially at 19.2 exahash by the end of 2022. Instead, they were at 2.8 exahash. So obviously that's a gigantic difference. So even the low end, 13.8 exahash, it looks like they're not going to get anywhere near that. They have the machines already in place or in transit to get to 6 exahash, and we'll see where they go from there. But this was October 2021, so this was just a few weeks before Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 69,000. So obviously the math has changed on all these types of purchases. They were not locked into this. They had the option to get out. They gave only a $10 million deposit against all these machines, and they really essentially effectively got that deposit back in a stock exchange with Bitfury. So as far as I know, these machines actually don't even exist right now. So I haven't seen anybody else buy these machines. These would have been the biggest machines on the market. So I don't want to belabor this, but this was an initial part of their narrative, and this is not happening. This has all been canceled. Okay, so I want to talk about the cost of energy. This is from their presentation that they just put together in January of 2023, operational highlights. And I want to focus on this right here, electricity. All-in electricity cost per Bitcoin, $4,571. Now, we haven't seen financial statements yet, so because they just started mining Bitcoin. So I definitely, for me, I will wait to get Q1 2023 financial statements and see how that actually played out. But if they are able to get anywhere in that neighborhood, then they will have the cheapest cost per Bitcoin by far out of any of the major Bitcoin miners. So I just have a healthy skepticism on that one. They may actually end up at that rate, but most of the time these companies don't hit the rate that they talk about in their presentation. So we will see if expectation meets reality. If it does, or if it's even close, again, this is an incredibly low cost per coin. This is all as a function of the fact that they have a 5-year power purchase agreement with average power price of 2.7 cents per kilowatt. So that is pretty much the lowest in the industry. We're just under 23,000 Bitcoin today. So if they're paying 4,000 or 5,000, even if that ends up being $6,000 or $7,000 per Bitcoin, then their gross profit margin will be very big, even if Bitcoin were to crash back down and retest its lows at about 15,500. Okay, just to take a quick look at the balance sheet, you'll see they have total current assets of $69.7 million, total assets of $407 million. And again, this is at September 30th, 2022. So a lot of this at that time was still deposits on equipment. At that time, they had $69.7 million in current assets, $19.6 million in current liabilities. That's over a 3-to-1 current ratio. That is very healthy, but as importantly, if not more importantly, they really have no long-term liabilities, next to none. So their total liabilities are only $24 million. This company has no debt, zero debt. So as we know, as we suffered through this crypto winter, which may or may not be over, the companies with debt were the ones that ran into the most trouble. So this company is not having a cash flow problem at all. Their balance sheet is strong. Their debt is zero. They also have an at-the-market program, so if they need to access more cash, they can do so. But like they said, they already own all 59,000 of their rigs, and they are already paid for. So to me, strength of balance sheet is a positive for this company. Okay, so I'm going to finish up by looking at their chart, and just I want to show you the run they've been on in the last month. Now, all the Bitcoin miners are up substantially over the last month. Cypher is among the leaders. They are up 188%, and they are off of their highs from last week where they were up 270%. So this has been a massive recovery. Having said that, when I go out to the big picture, you're going to see this is just a small fraction of gaining back what they lost in market cap over the last year and in share price. So, okay, so before I zoom out, I'll take a look at one price target. And again, remember, these are just my personal price targets. Okay, having said that, if we look at the chart, if you go back to August of 2022, Bitcoin had run up to $25,000. Now, Bitcoin's just under $23,000 right now, and Cypher has advanced substantially as a company since August. So just to get back to that number right there, that would be a 151% increase in the price of their stock, even after this giant run-up that they've already had. Cypher was trading at over $15 a share back in September of 2021. They're still down 93% off of that high. Now, that is not a number I'm expecting. That is not a personal price target for me for this company anytime soon. But if we take a look, there are other more realistic numbers that represent massive potential upside here. Okay, the first one is if they can get back to where they were in late March of 2022. Now, Bitcoin had a big run up that was at $48,000 at that point. That would be a 247% increase in their share price just to get back to where they were in March of 2022. Now remember, although Bitcoin was at a much higher price, Cypher had not yet started mining Bitcoin at that point, so they're a much more developed company right now. The last number I want to look at, and this is a little bit pie in the sky in my opinion, but they were just here when Bitcoin hit $69,000 at its all-time high. Although Cypher was nowhere near its all-time high and it had pulled back quite a bit, it was still at almost $10. That's an 800% increase from where they are right now. So I don't know. Some of you may look at that as a 1 or 2 or 3 or even a 4-year price target. An 800% increase is astronomical. So, there's a lot of upside. Of course, there's always downside. It's worth noting they're more than 60% off of their lows right now. So if Bitcoin were to turn around and go in the other direction, always remember, if they just revisit their lows from a month ago, that would be a 60% pullback. So that's the risk-reward analysis. That's my update on Cypher. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.